child lover Shane Dawson has sort of returned back from the dead as a zombie might. There's nothing spookier than a new Shane Dawson video. Not because the contents of the video are scary, but because it reminds us that Shane Dawson still exists. He will never go away. That's never going to happen. And there's nothing that you can do about it. If I was to make a video essay about this, I would call it the existential horror of Shane Dawson. And the existential horror is that he fucking exists. Shane Dawson is back, once again proving that unless you're basically convicted of rape, you will probably not suffer any consequences if you are canceled. We're going to make a lot of funny jokes this video. Probably make a lot of jokes about Shane Dawson fucking his cat, you know? Shane Dawson fucks his cat, he must have a real small dick or else his cat would be dead. You ever consider that? You know, I feel like if I fucked a cat, I would kill it. I don't know. Shane Dawson might be into people making fun of his small penis. I wouldn't be surprised if he was. Then again, he hasn't made any sketches about children making fun of his small penis that I can remember off the top of my head, like he has with pee. He's made a lot of jokes with children and pee. That's really a common reoccurring thing in Shane Dawson's comedy career. People, it almost seems like, gave Shane Dawson a harder time for, you know, coming on his cat, which he claims to have done. He's claimed to not have done it too. I don't know. Really, it's up to the viewing audience to decide. But Shane Dawson claimed to have come on his cat. And I find that, you know, pretty interesting, right? Like, in terms of just the way that the discourse around Shane Dawson was very oriented around the cat. The cat stuff. Coming on a cat is more, I think, rude than anything. I don't mean to say that that's not a bad thing, but, like, it isn't as bad as other things. But anyways, my point is that that was a very weird thing, in my opinion, for people to have focused on for so long, whenever the far worse thing was obviously the stuff regarding children. I mean, there's the racist stuff too. I personally would not do blackface. Quite racist stuff, honestly. But the roll up to the party song they did is definitely quite memorable. I think it's interesting, you know, that the cat stuff got so much more focused than the child stuff, when the child stuff is clearly much worse, right? And maybe that's just because people are a little bit less comfortable joking about pedophilia, which is weird. It's such a prevalent part of, you know, our culture. It's like one of those things. You'd see it on a listicle of like 10 habits that billionaires have. Oh, they wake up super fucking early, and then like number 6 is like, oh, they fuck kids. Are pedophiles bad, or are they just trying to manifest their billionaire fucking ultra rich life? I'm willing to bet money that the world's first trillionaire is probably fucking a kid right now. And if you want to have the right fucking mindset, the Sigma grind set, to become rich, successful, powerful, and famous, you should really be investing in raping children. I'm launching a child porn series of NFTs. And they'll have pictures of children that I'm trafficking. The way that he interacted with his audience early on, thousands and thousands of young children, some of them sent him probably pictures. I'm just saying, he's seen child porn. With the kind of audience that he had and the kind of shit that he was encouraging, there's no fucking way that he has not, that didn't happen. And I'm not saying he did anything with it. I'm not saying he was collecting it, you know. I'm just saying he almost certainly was sent child porn. You know, any claims that I do make throughout the video are, of course, only alleged. You know, I'm alleging them, and by that I mean I'm just making them up. A few days ago, I watched and reacted to a video by Shane Dawson. The first part of a little documentary mini-series that he made called Haunted Theories with Shane Dawson or something like that. I came across a problem that I don't normally have, which is that Shane Dawson's video is so just full of bullshit that me just like showing you a highlight reel of like something stupid and then me making a joke about it doesn't work, because you literally do not have the necessary context for what the fuck is happening in the video, because so many different things that aren't connected at all are happening at the same time. So I'm having to come in here on my day off. I'm having to come in here to add context. So we're gonna be watching the video. We're just gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it on my little iPhone over here. You don't look at my password, you little stinkies. Oh no, this is 3 parts? Oh no, not haunted, not a 3-part haunted series with Shane Dawson. No! That's scarier than anything he's gonna cover in the fucking thing. In the beginning of the video, you have this introduction that's just a fucking collage of bullshit. It's just nothing. It's just like, you know, it cuts ahead to events that happen later, not in this video, events that happen, I guess, in the next video. Shane Dawson comes in with his red puffy face, rubbing his arm that his fucking cat scratched up while he was trying to fuck it.
My arms hurts.
Oh, yeah, oh, I didn't see that when I was looking at it in the dark.
My arm, it just hurts.
You know, it sort of cuts to Shane Dawson talking with this boring lady and his boring husband about the ghost of a dead 12-year-old girl.
Oh, I'm just reading reviews, and this person says, we'd seen an aspiration of a little girl along the bridge while we heard the drums.
An aspiration of a little girl? That's not what aspiration means. That's apparition. Is she stupid reading it, or is the person stupid writing it? Guys, this is the sort of genius commentary that you can expect from me and my channel. She said the word wrong. She might have said the word wrong. Can you believe it?
That's making a lot more sense, because if you're saying that a 14-year-old girl had passed, people are 12, and then people are seeing the figure of a girl.
12? That's like the opposite of what you're supposed to say, Shane. They say 14, you say 18. That's what you're supposed to say, Shane. You don't go lower, you go higher. It's really sad. It's really sad. It's sad that a child died. That's one more child I won't get to see twerk on camera. This is gonna just be jokes about him being a pedophile. It's funny that the titular ghost that they're hunting is a 12-year-old girl. It's sort of like a weird thing to come back to do. I personally, if I was in Shane's situation, I would not be hunting for a child. I would not be doing any child ghost hunting. It's really sad.
Yeah, to know that people have actually died out there is really sad.
To know that people have actually died there is really sad. It's funny to have 2 people back to back disingenuously say, like, this is really sad what happened. And there's no context to this throughout the whole video, by the way. I watched the first 30 minutes of the 35-minute video and learned nothing about this girl.
This is like comically bad. Just put a fucking external mic on your camera. It sounds like shit. And then you have this really awful, like, droning horror music in the background. It's just, it's just like that, and it sounds like shit. It draws even more attention to how bad the audio sounds, right? Because you have like this crisp sound of the background music, and it's being contrasted with the horrible fucking grating audio of your shitty in-camera microphone, which would be fine if you weren't Shane fucking Dawson. You've made so much fucking money. I have to take a break. I have to take a break and do some self-reflection. In the meantime, buy my fucking merch and stuff, you know. Shane Dawson, very cool guy. But think about, like, all the money that you fucking made off of this fucking merch, you figure you could buy a fucking microphone.
Then they have like a flash forward of them in a car, and it just is bad. It sucks.
I'm sweaty.
That is the most terrifying thing I've ever experienced in my whole 24 years on this space.
Well, now I touched.
In the 12 years of my life, this is the most scared I've ever been.
A kid fucking says after doing the Charlie challenge. Like, that expression doesn't work if you're 24. That's something you say if you're like 50. Like,
In my 78 years of life, that's the scariest thing.
24, you've been an adult for like a fucking month. You're some upper middle class white chick. Like, oh whoa, all the terrifying shit that you've experienced in your 24 years.
Take it. Because I don't believe. I just don't believe in demons.
No, Mom, you take that thing
And you're done.
Yeah, a spirit is attached.
Spirit is attached to you. You take that thing, the spirit, it's gonna get its little globular hands, and it's gonna attach itself to you, and you're gonna need one hell of a spatula to peel that thing off. I remember I went to a fucking lake a few years ago with my friends, and it's definitely a fun time, you know, at night there's nobody there, you know, you see one car on the side of the road and it's like, oh, what's that car doing there? Or, you know, a fucking turtle splashes into the water and you're like, oh, you know, and you're like, oh, what if a thing happened? You know, and you make a real spooky sort of situation, and you sort of, in that period of time, it's fun to like accept that like just anything could happen, something scary could happen. Even though nothing scary actually will happen, you know, you go out to a playground in the middle of the fucking forest by a lake, it's spooky. And while in that instant, you'll, you know, entertain the idea of something crazy happening because it makes the experience, like, exciting. Like, of course the reality is that that's, you know, after the fact, that's, you accept that, like, you were freaking out about nothing. It's not like you continue to believe the thing that happened. You're just like, that was a fun time getting freaked out with my friends. You don't make a documentary about it.
So, you know, after the flash forward, we cut to 6 hours earlier where Shane Dawson is showing up at this chick's house, and, you know, then her dad shows up and he's like, what we really need to do is kill these TikTok kids. These TikTok kids, we need to fucking bring a gun and kill them. And then there's an absurdly long period within the video that is dedicated to talking about the trend on TikTok where kids steal shit from their school. Like 20% of the video is literally this, and a bunch of it is news segments about it. And, you know, this early part of the video, they're like going through the house and talking to all of this girl's relatives, and for a second, you know, they're talking to her grandma about ghosts. Shane Dawson's husband comes back to add even more to the fucking devious licks trend commentary that they're making, you know, which again is nothing. They're not really making hardly any commentary on it at all. It's just this chick's dad going, oh, that kid's gonna fucking, his dick is gonna fall off.
What we need to do is crush these TikTokers that are trashing all these school buildings.
God forbid I have to take a shit at school, right? That's hell already. I don't need to walk into the fucking bathroom and there just not be a door on the stall. I really don't need that. And I also don't need the fucking school administration to be like, okay guys, you need to check into the office and if you have to take a shit, you need to come into the office and say, hey principal, I have to take a shit. Can I borrow the toilet paper? And you need to bring the toilet paper back. And this way we can keep track of who's stealing toilet paper. Fucking, that's the sort of shit fucking schools do. That's the way schools respond to that shit. It's just terrible. I remember I was going to school, people were like doing shit in the bathroom at lunch, and so their solution was, oh, if you want to go to the bathroom, you have to, this is high school, you have to go and ask a principal, and they will walk you down to the bathroom and wait outside of it while you piss and shit. Yeah, that sounds like a pain in the ass if kids are breaking shit, I guess. I don't know, I just don't care that much. Like, fuck school, I guess. But come on, some people got shit. Some people have to take shits, and they need to wash their hands with soap, even if the school just doesn't ever fucking refill the soap dispensers, ever. If your school happens to be rich enough to be able to refill the soap dispensers, then, you know, please don't rip them off of the wall. You know, people have to wash their fucking hands. And people have to wipe their asses. We don't need more kids not wiping their ass. Enough kids don't wipe their ass already. More than enough. I would say many times more than what is ideal.
Prosecute them.
Prosecute them, dude. This fucking dickhead is like, prosecute the children. You know what will really teach them a lesson? Ruining their life for stealing the fucking soap dispenser. The world's so fucked. You know, why wouldn't they fucking steal fucking the toilet? They're working through the fact that they have nothing. Their life is, they have no future. There's nothing for them other than maybe becoming famous on the internet.
Are you coming ghost hunting with us? Have you ever felt something haunted in this house?
In this house, no. In my house, in my other house, I did the mobile home.
What happened?
I just felt like Hyde was there.
What a documentary is for Shane Dawson is just going around and asking people about things, and then whatever the fuck random shit that they talk about, you just put a little musical cue over it to tell the audience how to feel, and maybe a couple of clips relating to it. And that's basically what a documentary is. No research really required, no, you know, thoughtful questioning of anything, no editing out things that aren't relevant at all.
I don't know if it was a ghost, I just kind of felt his presence right at the front door.
That's, you know what, that is a ghost. That's a ghost. She said, I don't know if it was a ghost, it was most certainly a ghost. You know, you felt like a person was, you felt their presence, that's a ghost. That's what we in the biz. We in the biz, we call that a little bit of a ghost situation.
Okay, in relation to a recent TikTok trend where students take things like soap dispensers. Seems like a weird trend.
Dude, why is that even in the video? You already covered the whole trend. And now you've put in a clip of this fucking doofus reading an article on Google. Why do they keep returning to this? Is this going to be a theme throughout the entire video?
Now, they kicked off 3 urinals off the walls today. So they're standing at the urinals and they're ripping off these sensors. There's 277 volts back there.
So they could
I don't wish harm on anybody, but I hope the little shit that's taking a piss with his screwdriver touching that, you know where that electricity's gonna go?
Right in his dick.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna find out real quick who it is.
Why does he think that kid will piss into electrical wiring? Why does this old man think that that's what the kid's just taking it off the wall? They're not gonna piss in it. They're gonna piss on the floor. because there's a little drain for piss right next to the urinals. School, there's a little drain. That's where you're supposed to piss. The urinal's more just sort of, you know, if it's for privacy if there's more than one person. But if you're alone in the bathroom, you're supposed to piss directly into the drain.
That electricity's gonna exit.
Okay, I know it's to stop.
We'll find out real quick.
They just have this old guy making the same joke like multiple times in the video. Multiple times mentions a child getting their penis shocked with 240 volts of electricity, you know, bursting into flames, you know, turning black and falling off. Maybe, if you're Shane Dawson, don't include too many clips relating to children's genitalia. That's just a suggestion. They spend like 5 minutes, again, I'm not exaggerating whenever I say it, it's actually more than 5 minutes, it's like 6 or 7 minutes, talking about this public park that's in the same town that is over where a cemetery used to be, and there's a bunch of ghosts there, and they don't go there. They're not going there. That's just not a thing that they do in this video. Maybe they do it in the next video.
I don't care. I'm not going to watch the next video, so I don't know why they put it in this one. It doesn't add hardly anything. The segment is mostly just compilations of news clips and smaller YouTube content creators that they found. One of them is named Omar Gosh, which is excellent. I love that name. This video is at least 20% clips from other people's videos and also like clips from the news and stuff. It's quite bad.
Cheeseman Park's been closed down because there's just too much crazy stuff going on right there.
Right. Well, but that's not where we're going, but what is that?
That's not what this video is about. That's not where we're going. But please add more runtime to this already bloated video.
It says that if you lay on the ground at night,
You'll feel them.
okay. Anyways, we'll do that another time.
We'll do that another time. We'll do that another time. We spent like 5 minutes talking about it in this 35-minute video. But we'll go there another time. We'll go there another time. You better go there this fucking video. You can't just put 5 minutes worth of bullshit. Shane Dawson makes such bad videos. They're so bad, dude.
The chick whose house they're at had a ghost, and there's some fucking psychic medium who's like, there's a ghost. It's like they cut back to clips from videos that have already been made in the past about this chick and her house that is haunted by a ghost who uses the Snapchat filter to use the little dog lick thingy. It's fucking awful. This whole video is garbage.
This is an earthbound spirit. He is full black, and I believe he's from the 1800s, around that period.
It's just funny that people talk like super confidently about ghosts. Like, they're just talking incredibly confidently about shit that they're just making up. They're interpreting them like improvising a bunch of bullshit as like, I'm intuiting out the fucking spirit world. Your ghost is from the 1800s. And he has a smaller than average penis. That's actually why he's haunting you. Your clit is bigger than his penis. And he's jealous because he has a tiny, microscopic little baby penis. He was a nice guy. I'm getting the feeling that he was a nice guy, but your girls just never gave him a chance in real life. So he needs to get pussy from you. But he's a nice guy. Most of his hauntings, he's like opening the door for you. But he does, keep in mind, he expects some sort of sexual favor for opening and closing doors for you. Yeah, it's freaking you the fuck out, but he's like, oh, you're looking at the closet. Do you want me to grab something from there? I'll open it up for you. Yeah, no, it's no problem. No, it's no problem. I don't mind doing it at all. In the back of his mind, though, the ghost isn't actually thinking that. The ghost is actually thinking, if she doesn't have sex with me, then she's a bitch and a whore who was using me.
It takes them like 15-20 minutes to get to the actual haunted location that they're going to go. And talking about that in the fucking video. That's how long it takes. It's fucking mind-boggling that people watch this shit. It's so bad. It's just so terrible. It's terrible the whole way through. There's no point that's good.
Where we're going.
Well, I actually think this will be good for you to know because we now all live in this county.
That sort of noise, that wouldn't be happening if you fucking mic'd people up properly.
I got all nervous because I was like, I don't really have much to say besides this is where like teenagers go to have their little first date kikis. But
Shane Dawson's like, oh, ew, gross. Teenagers? Oh, naked? Ooh, gross. Icky. It'd almost be funny if we saw that though. I mean, especially if they're like really, like if they're like 12, it'd be kind of funny. Oh, but ew, gross. Ew, gross, a child? Ew, gross.
But anyways, I guess I should talk about the Third Bridge section. They talk about how it's haunted because of the Sand Creek Massacre, but the Sand Creek Massacre happened like 100 miles away, so how is that what the haunting is? That doesn't make any fucking sense. That's stupid. One thing that I remember them doing a lot of is, one, there's a ton of emphasis on this white guy who was killed to justify the massacre. And to me that seems weird because this is one white guy that was killed to justify like a genocide against Native Americans. You know, and whenever they talk about the fucking guy who perpetrated the Sand Creek Massacre, they're like, oh, because some white guy just decided he would be a macho dude. And it's like, that's not how shit works.
So it's actually really sad. It's like a big part of history in rural Colorado because they killed all these innocent people that were just living their life there for no reason besides the fact that they were like white assholes.
White assholes, I don't think that's why. I think it's because they probably wanted to use that land, or they didn't want to worry about ever potentially having any objections to their power.
And then they were framed for this Hungate murder, and then they were murdered themselves. So it's really sad.
It's really sad, actually. It's like really sad that all these Native Americans die. Rip to them, okay? Rip to them. Add me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, MySpace. Rip to all the innocent souls who died in this selfish tragedy. Rip to all of them. It's like a weird thing to say. Like, it's so weird because, like, the point to this story is to set up this spooky ghost place. Then why did you mention it? If it didn't have anything to do with your little haunted adventure, why'd you put it in the video? I guess the same reason they put the fucking devious licks trend in there. But you have to understand that within the context of the video, it is still part of what's building up to the horror and suspense related to the area that you're going to.
I always heard like you go there to see the horses and hear the drums, but I didn't know why.
How can you honestly say that has nothing to do with your little adventure whenever the thing that happens when you go there is you hear Native American drums and you hear horses? Like, how is that not related? You just said that. You just preempted the criticism that I made by saying like, oh, it has nothing to do with it. That's just not true. You're just lying. You just made that up. This is totally dependent on that fucking history.
Can hear drums?
You stick your head out the window, yeah.
If you guys can hear the drums going out there right now, we are right on the other side of the bridge here. Oh, it stopped. No, it keeps going. It sounds like a war.
I don't know, as we approach this pump jack, it sounds kind of alarming. Like if I was a child and I heard this
ones, I hate them. There's two pump jacks right next to each other. Only one of them is on.
Yeah.
This is sort of a tour day, Oklahoma.
Which has been debunked because they say it's an oil well or an oil rig.
Sounds like there's beating of a drum, but there's a pump jack not far from here.
There's a pump jack? There's literally just a pump jack? Dude, I can go to my fucking park. I have a party. Oh, it's fucking haunted because I hear the... Because there's a fucking big pump jack in the middle of the park. By the way, that's just fucking ugly as shit. I should blow it up. Somebody should go blow up that fucking pump jack. Like, fucking Christ. Ridiculous, dude. Why is it in the middle of a fucking park? Just disgusting. That's, of course, a joke.
I was like, oh, it's safe in Colorado. I start to hear all these tragic stories, and I'm like, maybe people are crazier here. There's just less people.
It's almost like scary to go out in public because you're like, what's really going on?
Upper middle class white people shit. I might get fucking serial killed. One of the 50 serial killers that's active right now, that's going to kill a total of 3 people, is gonna kill me. That's what these people worry about. I'm gonna be murdered. No, you're not. You're gonna get a fucking heart attack. You're gonna get like skin cancer or something. You're not gonna get murdered. I got bored and I just skipped to the end. They don't go anywhere. The whole video, they don't go anywhere. They're just setting it up. And it's just mostly irrelevant stuff. This video legitimately should have been like 5 minutes. I don't know how they could make this. This is genuinely, like, how could people watch this? I guess I'm sort of ignoring the kind of people who are watching this. It's people who are into like ghost hunting shit probably. And you know, if you're into like watching people hunt for ghosts, you're probably used to a long fucking span of time when you're watching people do nothing. And it's just kind of creepy. You know, because that's what ghost hunting is. That's what ghost hunting shows are. It's what ghost hunting videos are. It's going to a place, it being kind of creepy. You know, you set it up at the beginning, you go there, and then you analyze things at the end, and nothing fucking happens at any point. But it's just a little spooky the whole time. Honestly, this is much worse than a ghost hunting TV show. And those are terrible. Ghost hunting TV shows are awful. And they pad out their runtime pretty bad. But this is much worse. The point of YouTube, especially in terms of like videos specifically like this, videos that are analyzing things, video informational shit, the reason why YouTube is so good for that is because it's concise in a way that TV isn't. YouTube documentaries, a lot of them are better than what you'll find on TV. Just because the people actually can pace things reasonably. Whereas on TV, that's not what happens. On TV, they have to pace things out to fill a certain time slot. It's even worse in the fucking UK. You know, they don't have commercials. Or at least they don't have as many commercials or something like that. So like if they have to fill an hour, it's not just 45 minutes like it is in America, it's actually an hour. So I mean, that's even worse, you know? No wonder people think fucking British TV shows are so fucking dry. It's not that they're dry, it's that literally nothing's happening. Shane literally came back when we needed him the most. What about this time? What about right now is when you need him the most? Is it because it's October and it's spooky? It's a little spooky to have a pedophile making videos on YouTube again. Despite of what people say about Shane and his past, as a First Nation myself, the fact that they even mentioned the story, you learn about the Sand Creek Massacre in school. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I live in Oklahoma. Oklahoma was a big fucking Native American reservation for a long time. Like it was where they put everybody basically. The Trail of Tears ended up here. It is not like some amazing virtue to bring somebody's attention to something that happened, especially something like this, where like I think most people who went to school know about it already. I guess like it would be nice if Shane actually educated people about it. But like really, this really makes it into like this individualist sort of narrative. Like it makes it this thing where it's this guy who wanted to prove himself as a man. Like that's the way that she spins the story in this video, which really isn't how the Native American genocide went down. It wasn't just, oh, white people wanted to prove them how macho they were. It was because they wanted the land. They wanted to own the land. And it was inconvenient that there were people who were alive and on it. One says, I was in science class and my penis caught on fire. Ryland's dad needs to be in more videos in the future. Love that guy. It is a funny bit. It's so funny Shane included the exact same bit twice. That's how funny it is. It is also so funny that two people made the exact same comment. I will never get bored watching Shane's videos. God, how? Collective hysteria. This video has it in spades. Cillian Simon? What a fucking sick ass dude. I am not a believer, but holy shit, Shane really knows how to sell a story. He'd be a great salesperson. I just don't, it's like they live in a different universe. You know, I feel very similar to how I felt after the, this is a callback to a pretty old video that I made. I feel very similar reading these comments to how I felt whenever I saw like the response to like the Leafy Pokemon video. It was such a bad video, and everybody in the commentary community, these people who like pride themselves in like being really critical of shit, just collectively sucking his cock. And that's what everybody in the comment section is doing for Shane, you know? It's exactly what he wants. It's a bunch of fucking children sucking his dick. But I'm not making any serious points here. It really, I don't give a shit that Shane's back. It doesn't really matter. Ultimately, he was never going to be gone forever. He was always going to come back because he wants to be a famous guy. And so he's going to continue to be a famous guy until he like does something so bad that he's sent to prison, which he probably won't ever do. You know, a lot of people are like, well, that was a long time ago and you should forgive him, but like, that's stupid. You know, just because somebody did something a long time ago, it's like, yeah, sure, I don't think he should be shot to death. But like, nobody's ever owed forgiveness from somebody else. Nobody's ever owed like the peace of mind of like, it's okay. I understand that was a long time ago and you're a different person now. Like nobody's owed that, especially in this case. I don't know, guys. In conclusion, this Shane Dawson video is quite bad. It's really terrible. It's probably one of the worst. It's just a terrible video. Nobody should watch it. Like, it's so unfocused and lazy, and it's like, it's clear to me that the reason why people like these videos so much is just because they want to waste their time. It's a bunch of children who want to waste their time. That's fine. I guess I don't mind. But, I mean, fucking waste your time watching my videos, maybe. How about that? I turned off the camera a little bit too soon. Oh, I wish I had it on for one more minute. I just, so, there's an air compressor under the, like, 2 feet away from me. And it's very loud. And it turns on automatically. And it just did that just now. It's so loud. It scared the shit out of me. Holy fuck. Oh my god. That's, I think, the first time in years that I've made like an audible, like, I was like, like, and I jumped out of my seat. Like, it activated my fucking fight or flight, and I was like, I had to, like, I had this massive burst of energy for like a second. I probably bruised my hand because I slammed it against the fucking, the table so hard. It hurts quite bad, actually. I think I injured my hand a little bit. I'm shaking. The little... Ow, fuck. I hurt myself.
In the 12 years of my life, this is the most scared I've ever been.